Joining us now for a deeper look at these issues is Attorney Chel Diokno of the Free Legal Assistance Group. Attorney Chel, thank you so much for joining us. Previous administrations have already issued their own amnesty proclamations. How is this any different?
Yes, in fact, I think we are the only country in the world that has had more than 20 amnesty proclamations since the 1940s. And yet, what's sad is that armed conflict is still here and it hasn't really been addressed. Probably the reason is because amnesty by itself is really not going to solve the problem. If the rebels who avail of amnesty come back from the hills and yet face the same social problems that they had, that gave them that impetus to go to the hills, then it really is not going to solve anything.
It won't solve anything. So what should the government do to be able to resolve the social ills that brought these rebel groups to the hills?
Amnesty is a positive step. I think it's something that has to be done in terms of making sure that those who were part of rebel groups will no longer be held criminally liable. But as I said earlier, we have to recognize everyone's freedom of belief and opinions, especially on political matters, without any kind of reprisal or retribution. And that requires that in addition to amnesty, there also must be a comprehensive peace plan that is pursued by government, I believe.
So, Attorney Chel, really an honest effort to reconcile all these rebel groups. But of course, the President also issued Executive Order number 47, which is amending EO number 125 series of 2021 for the creation of the National Amnesty Commission. How soon will this commission be formed, and how soon could these rebels be given amnesty?
I believe it will take some time because amnesty under the Constitution requires the concurrence of Congress. So that's the first step. And then after that, the commission members will be appointed and then they will take office. So it's not going to be a fast process, I think.
When you say not a fast process, but if the President wills it, there is the political will to form this National Amnesty Commission, and it will be passed by Congress. A budget will be given. The process will start to roll to release these political prisoners. What would be a realistic time frame, Attorney Chel?
Probably by next year, if I can guess and project right. But as you mentioned, it's the real issue there is the political will.
So, do you think that President Marcos has the political will to really push forward with this National Amnesty Commission?
Well, the concurrence of Congress, I think, will be fairly easy. And that I think the President will probably be able to get that without much of a hitch. Once that is secured, then the setting up of the commission itself won't really be a problem. I don't think so. Even the budget, hindi naman kailangan ng malaking budget yan. But I just want to add that while the proclamations and the executive order is a good, it's a positive step, how it's going to be implemented and interpreted is really going to be the real test for whether this will work. And I think that it will also require not just an amnesty grant, but going back to the peace table on a national level.
What about the political offense doctrine? Has it been established?
If you're referring to the fact that most amnesty only covers political offenses, yes, when I took a look at the proclamations, that seems to be the case also with the new ones issued by the President.
And once it is formed and it has a commissioner or commissioners, how long do you think the process before we see the release of the first political prisoners?
If we go by the previous National Amnesty Commissions, they have to conduct hearings. And then there are pleadings submitted by the parties, and that could take some time. It depends as well on how much will be committed in terms of budget and personnel to the commission.
But realistically, could we see the first prisoners being released midway through the Marcos Jr. administration or towards the end of the Marcos Jr. administration?
It's very hard to say, but I must add that I think in addition to this move, there has to be a thorough review of cases. Because I understand that there are some members of rebel groups who have been charged with cases that really are not, let's say, backed up by sufficient evidence. And yet they are facing those kinds of cases and are detained. If those could already be processed and those could be weeded out, then it will make the job of the Amnesty Commission a lot easier as well.
On the issue of the ICC, Attorney Chel, why do you think that the government is rethinking of rejoining the International Criminal Court?
It's very hard for me to speculate on what's going on in their heads, but I hope that whoever is in the administration will make that decision to return to the International Criminal Court. It's really not a surrender of our sovereignty. What it is it gives our people another way to get accountability. Because we have to understand when people high up in our country, when the powerful, let's say someone as high up as a president, is charged in our courts, it's really very difficult to get justice.
But Attorney,
we all acknowledge when I have gone around the country, people have been telling me the same thing. Bakit double standard ang justice dito sa atin? And the ICC simply ensures that there will be accountability.
So is it possible for this administration to rejoin the International Criminal Court, but it will tell the ICC hands off on the Duterte drug war?
No, I don't think that's possible. In the first place, even if we have gone out of the ICC, it's still our obligation to cooperate because the ICC has clearly said that the offenses that were charged, that were being investigated and are being investigated, are within its jurisdiction. And therefore, for those offenses, we are obligated to cooperate, even if we have withdrawn from the ICC.
Attorney Chel, thank you so much for your insights on these key issues. Free Legal Assistance Group Chairperson, Attorney Chel Diokno.